The race to be the next Spartanburg County Sheriff is on, and voters will have 9 candidates on their ballots. They include current Deputy Robert Cheeks, former Deputy Andy Clark, current Spartanburg County Coroner Rusty Clevenger, and the list continues. Current Town Councilman in Lyman, Adam Crisp, former Deputy and candidate for Sheriff Nick Duncan, and current Deputy Randy Hollifield. And the rest of the candidates include Spartanburg Police Officer Joseph Pilato, retired State Trooper Bill Ryan, and retired law enforcement officer at the local and federal levels, Rick Stevens. And you decide soon. Early voting begins July 21st, with Election Day for the primary set for August 5th. And if a runoff race is needed, which is expected with 9 candidates, that election will be held on August 19th. This summer, Spartanburg County, you decide. And one of those candidates running for sheriff is Randy Hollifield. So, Mr. Hollifield, thank you so much for taking some time with us. Very first question, done so for every candidate. Why run for sheriff of Spartanburg County?
Well, you know, I grew up in Spartanburg all my life. Actually went into the military when I left Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Came home, happened to be at the Beacon, and run into some guys that I went to school with. Said there was an opening at the sheriff's office. Went down, talked to them, and they actually hired me the day that I actually went in because I had prior military service. Started in uniform patrol, worked myself up to I knew when I went into law enforcement, it really wasn't something that I wanted to do because I just come out of the military. I was really looking for a job. But after I got into it, I kind of found my niche, which was traffic. I enjoyed doing DUI enforcement. So I made sure that I need all the classes and everything that I could prior to an opening coming up. So when it came open, I already had the classes put in for traffic, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed working DUI enforcement.
And you've been there at the sheriff's office since 2005.
2005, I came back in. I was gone for about 7 years, from 98 to 2005. 2005, I came back in as a captain, captain over special services, which entailed a little bit of everything. Traffic was back under me because that's what my passion was. And at that time, Mad Mothers was having an issue with DUI and DUI enforcement. So I actually took over the captain's position of special services. And for 8 straight years, the sheriff's office was #1 in traffic division in the state of South Carolina, and twice was #1 in the nation during that time. So around 2014, I was moved from the roadside to the detention and spent 11 years in the detention center.
Why move from captain of special services to captain at detention center?
Was it my choice? I moved. The sheriff had decided that he was going to move me from the roadside to the detention, and when he told me to do that, that's what I did. And I have no idea why it was moved.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
So you don't know why that move was made?
No, sir. I never know.
Never explained?
No, sir.
Okay. Worked a long time for the former Sheriff Chuck Wright.
Yes, sir.
You're part of his original command staff.
Yes, sir.
There.
Absolutely.
How would you describe your relationship with Chuck Wright?
As far as the sheriff, we were close. We talked a lot up until 2014 when I was moved. I went to the detention center, and our interactions from 2014 until now was not too much. We didn't, we would talk. But other than that, our interactions, as far as what was going on with the office, I had no idea what was going on the roadside.
So not of a personal or professional relationship, really?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
You have no idea why?
I have no idea.
Okay.
None whatsoever. Can't tell you.
When it comes to these allegations that we've seen, the recommendations from SLED, where they have recommended some charges to the 10th Circuit solicitor, that letter that we received from the Attorney General's office, those allegations, those recommendations coming from SLED, did you see any wrongdoing when it came to Sheriff Wright? He doesn't have any charges, but those recommendations are coming from SLED. In your long years there, did you see anything from the former sheriff? No,
from the time that I came to work in 2005 till 2011, no, sir. When I actually moved in 2014, there was nothing that I saw that was any different from day-to-day operations. I had my job that I had to do, and so that's what I did. I took care of, well, at that time I was over training. I was over the SWAT team, dive team, plus being an actual member on the SWAT team. So all those things were under under me, so that's what I did. From day to day, I took care of those, and if I had anything that I needed to discuss with him, we would discuss it. But other than that, in 2014, when I was moved, I have no idea.
Still no explanation?
Still no explanation of why I was moved in 2014.
Okay.
None whatsoever.
Your time at the detention center between 2022 and 2023, there were 7 deaths in 8 months. How do you explain those numbers?
The problem there is people that come in from the street. When they come in, they have all different kind of issues. They have medical issues. So when somebody comes into detention center, they're not always in the best of shape. So a lot of times those things happen, and it's nothing that is outside of what we would normally do. Unfortunately, the problem being, I guess, is because they passed in the detention center. It brings light to the detention center. If they would have passed away outside just from whatever their issue was or whatever they passed away from inside the jail, then we probably wouldn't have heard anything other than it was when they were in the jail, they passed. So as far as anything that I can tell you, a lot of people's medical conditions is what it is when they come into the jail. So we have to deal with that inside the detention center.
There's one study that found there were some 27 deaths between 2015 and 2023, near the top of the state when it comes to those detention centers. Why is it such a prominent problem for Spartanburg County as opposed to other counties? What do you think that is?
I can't really give you an answer other than issues when they come from the street. They have drug issues. They're actually going through all kind of problems on the street. So when they come in, we try to help them as much as we can, but there's only so much we can do with their issues once they come into the jail.
So as sheriff, if elected sheriff, how can you fix those problems?
I don't know that you can really fix those issues other than making sure that when somebody comes in, if they have an issue, if they have a pre-existing issue, a lot of times people when they come in, they don't tell you all the issues they have. A lot of people when they come in, they don't tell you they have a drug habit. They might come in for a drug issue, but they don't say that they have it. They don't let you know that they're going through DTs or they having issues of any kind. So when they actually come into the jail, a lot of them don't even tell you that. They'll just tell you they're fine, and then you find these things out after they get there. After they do an assessment, they might tell you that, and then if there's an issue with that, then we follow whatever they tell us and try to get them some help.
So with that knowledge that you have from the detention center, as sheriff, how can you bring that knowledge into the forefront and make sure that there are no deaths at the detention center and individuals do get the help they need?
Well, the medical team at the jail continue to assess people. If they have things that are going on, they'll go evaluate them, they'll talk to them, and I think that those are the kind of things that you have to do. If they have to go out, we send people all the time out to Spartanburg Regional to get help. And so the biggest thing is just keeping on top of it, but they do that each and every day. Unfortunately, those things happen sometimes, and they're kind of outside of your control.
One thing too, Rolling Thunder.
Yes, sir.
The interim sheriff has ended it.
Yes, sir.
If elected sheriff, is it coming back?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes,
Some
sir.
of your opponents are saying it's unconstitutional.
Well, the problem with Rolling Thunder, when Rolling Thunder started, Rolling Thunder was started and it actually came from when Florence did strike force down in Florence County. Went down and looked at that and came back, and the Rolling Thunder is not itself broke. If there's some issues with things that are going on while Rolling Thunder is going on, then you need to address those issues, those problems. For me, getting out and one time a year, getting out and putting more cars on the road, between Atlanta and Charlotte, there's an extremely huge amount of drugs that move up and down this interstate each and every day. It's good to have guys out there that are doing it each and every day. But when I originally started Rolling Thunder, I made sure that everybody that comes to that operation, that's all they did was drug interdiction on the interstates. That's all they did. Same thing if a person went up into.
So did you oversee it?
Yes,
so
I
you
did.
Made sure.
I was in charge of it.
You were in charge of it?
I was in charge of it until 2014 when I was moved. 2014, after I moved, I was not in charge of it. So I don't know some of the things that might have changed that I implemented, that I put in place. I those things I would have to sit down and look and see, but as far as the operation itself, having it each and every year, I think it's a good thing, not only for, well, what it does is it lets those folks that move those drugs up and down the interstate, it lets them know that you're out there and you're going to be enforced on that one week.
I think lastly here, kind of quickly, is what's your promise to voters of Spartanburg County?
Well, for me, you know, I have 7 reasons why I want to be the sheriff in Spartanburg County. I have 7 grandkids, and my grandkids mean a lot to me, and I want them to be as safe as they can be in Spartanburg County. I've spent my entire life working the streets of Spartanburg, and I've always treated people the way that I would want to be treated, and the same thing will go for me as the sheriff. You know, I feel that a sheriff should lead from the front. I think that a sheriff should be out in front. And for me, that's all I know. All the thing I know is to put boots on the ground, get out there and treat people the way that I'd want to be treated. You know, I come from a time, I think we were just talking about, I come from a time when you had a front door open and a screen door and you go next door. Do I think that we can ever get back to that? No, but you know what? The people of this county need to feel that, at least from the sheriff, that they can come up and talk to him. He can get out into the county and talk to people and just be one of them. I am, as they say, I am who I am, and I can't change that.
All right, Randy Hollifield, candidate for Spartanburg County Sheriff. Mr. Hollifield, thank you.